everybody and welcome back to my channel, The Mum on the Go. My name's Steph. If you haven't been here before and this is your first video with me, welcome. This channel is all about being a mum on the go, which means all the content here is filmed directly from my mobile phone and I don't use a camera because I don't have time to grab the camera on the go. Today's vlog is all about the birth of our baby boy, who we discussed in the last video was breech, and this is what happened following on from that. So we found out we were breech at 37 weeks and everything was a little bit up in the air. We weren't sure what was going to happen. On my last video covered some of the stuff that happened initially with deciding whether we were going to have an ECV, if we were going to have a C-section and everything like that. We did try ECV to turn our baby round and it was unsuccessful. So we had a date put in the diary and we were going to be delivering our baby boy through elective C-section, which meant we knew exactly when he was going to be arriving and we could prepare for that day, which was actually quite exciting because it meant I could relax and I could have everything ready, and we were going to go to bed one night and the next day we knew we were going to be parents, which was really strange because it was like you were going to bed and the next morning was going to be Christmas. You know it was coming. I actually was really, I was looking forward to meeting our son, but obviously I was nervous a little bit about the operation and the C-section and what was going to happen. But I spoke to lots of fellow mums and they were all saying, you know, an elective C-section, it's really relaxing and you know what time you're going in at and everything like that. So I'm going to start pretty much with the days leading up to the C-section, and then I'll take you through the delivery and the special moments that me and my husband got to share that we haven't shared with anyone else, and they're going to be in this vlog and you'll get to see our baby boy coming into the world. So guys, today is the final day of my life before I become a mum. I actually was washing my hair this morning and I burst out laughing because I genuinely can't believe it. I cannot believe tomorrow is the day that I become a mum. So I'm just in his nursery with the bump, obviously. So we are officially going to be 39 weeks pregnant tomorrow, and I just can't, like I've said already at the start, I can't believe it. So we are going in tomorrow morning at 7 AM for our C-section that nobody knows about. So it's so exciting because we've not told anybody. We've just told everyone that, you know, he'll be here at some point. Everyone knows that we are having a C-section now. Definitely don't think baby's turned. I mean, they are going to scan me just before the C-section just to double check. But I don't think that he will have turned around because his head is very much still prominent in my ribs. But yes, they'll do a little scan anyway. We start our pre-op observations at 7 o'clock and then they said that they roughly think that we'll get taken in about 10. Had a phone call today from the midwives, so they were asking me how I'm feeling. I am very excited, but I'm obviously scared, anxious, nervous, all the normal feelings of becoming a mum, but just obviously I think with it being planned, that's allowed me to relax a little bit more. I'm really feeling organised, which is lovely. And even just going to my bed last night, I was thinking, you know, very soon I'm just going to be turning over my head and he's going to be there and he's next to me. So I can't wait to introduce him to everyone. I can't wait for everyone to meet him. And we obviously can't wait to meet him. So I'm just clearing a wee few bits in his nursery because the next time that I'm in here, he will be here, which is crazy. I've got my hospital bags all set to go. I'm probably just going to go over them a little bit again just because. Yeah, and tomorrow is the day that we become parents. So, final bump update from me to you. We cannot wait to meet you, little man. Can't wait to welcome him into the world. So guys, I've done a little bit of housework and I've come back because I'm actually feeling so emotional. I'm feeling so strange, like literally doing the hoovering and thinking like, oh my God, like I'm going to be a mum. I'm going to be a mum. And just, I'm trying not to panic, but I'm trying to just stay calm. But it's obviously a lot and I'm just finding it like, it's overwhelming. Just like thinking tomorrow there's going to be someone here and I'm going to have to, they're going to rely on me for everything. They're going to be wanting me to just be there. And from tomorrow, I'm going to be a mum. So with an elective C-section, you get to almost kind of pick your date. They do take you in normally a week before your due date. So we knew that our son was going to be born at 39 weeks. And I decided to keep working all the way up to 38 weeks. So then when we got the news that he was going to be coming at 39 weeks, it was a bit chaotic because that meant we were going to be having him the following week. And we did have him bang on 39 weeks, and that was on the Monday. And it would only be pushed back if there was any emergency sections that came in. So we made our way to the hospital. Good morning.
It's 20 past.
It is 6:20 in the morning. We are up very early because this little guy is coming today. So this will be my last bumpy, they call it. Last bumpy, Stevie.
Last bump day.
Yeah. So we're going to meet our baby boy today. Excited?
You coming out?
Yes.
Coming to see us.
So we're super excited. So we have to be at the hospital by 7 o'clock, so we better go, get ready. So the next time we take a video,
We'll have a screaming Wayne.
we'll have a baby. See you on the other side, guys. We're in the car. We're on our way to the hospital. Bags are all packed in the boot.
You ready?
I think we're
How do
ready
you feel?
ready as we'll ever be to become parents.
You ready to get this sweet guy out your sunroof?
We're ready to make it the best day ever, aren't we?
Yes.
6th of September. That's his birthday. Ready to become a feather?
I thought the video was running.
It is.
Yeah, I think I'm ready. I don't know. Maybe. It's not going back now, is it?
No. We got enough bags?
I don't know. Are we supposed to bring all these bags?
Who knows? First time parents, no idea what we're doing. So the actual delivery of a C-section is obviously quite fast. We went in, a lot of the consultants came and they went through everything with you. They obviously have to go over all the risks just to let you know about everything that could possibly happen in the delivery of your baby.
He's a flash. Need a hand? Do you want some help?
Maybe. Oh dear. Tighter than flick.
You married?
Got to a child.
If that's how rough you put socks on, aye. Watch his wee toes.
I'm sweating.
I know. Doing a great job.
Imagine I was your midwife.
No, be horrific. Got that right at you.
Oh, that would do.
Sitting there.
Some braces for these.
And then get them on. No, I don't think that's the right size.
Extra large. Extra large. I didn't care when we were.
I'm not sure. Yeah, up. So is it these big ones?
It's going to have to be in it.
Oh, oh my god. Ooh.
That's for my big pouch.
It's a like bodybuilding. You could wear them at the gym.
up with that camera view.
So we're ready to go. Quite comfortable.
My feet, if you want.
Odd socks. Keep smiling with this mask on, but you can't see it. Imagine. Thank God we're not having a girl. I honestly couldn't believe that you're just ready, like you'll see in those videos there, and then they just take you out round the corridor, and then you just go straight in. And I went in and I felt as if I was in a scene off the television, because everything was just surgical. There's all these people with their masks on, and you're just looking at everyone thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, this is it. I'm about to have my baby. And they get you up on the table. It's pretty quick, like straight up, like get started straight away. And they give me my epidural. I had to have 2 attempts at the epidural. The first one didn't quite go in the spinal. They asked me to bend over a little bit further, which is really hard when you've got a big bump, but obviously they have to get it right. So I had that, and then they lie you down pretty quickly, and then they wait for that to work, and then they get started. They use a little can of spray to kind of spray your body, and it's freezing cold, and they ask you whereabouts you can feel the coldness up until. So they sprayed it up my body and I could still feel it, but she's like, right, okay, let's just give it another few minutes. Then it literally came on really fast. I'm like, right, okay, that's us, we're ready to begin. And we had the kind of drapes up, so we couldn't see anything, thank goodness. And my husband was right here by my side, and then there was 2 lovely people up at the top of my head, and they had already let me know they're going to be there the whole time. So if anything goes wrong, you know, they're going to be there. They obviously get started. It's a different team that come in at the bottom, and they kind of don't speak to you at that point. They've came and spoken to you earlier on. So we're lying there, and they do say before you go for a C-section that obviously with the epidural it numbs you up to about here, but there is a small percentage of people where it can go all the way like to your head, and if that happens, then obviously you're kind of knocked out and you're not going to be there for the birth of your baby. And I just kept having this fear that was going to happen to me. So I at one point I started not to be able to feel my fingers, and I started to panic because I was thinking this is going like further up than I want it to. Then also I had a blood pressure cuff on, so that obviously was making my fingers go a little bit numb as well. You can hear him in the background. He's very much found his voice this week. So I started to panic because I was thinking, I can't feel my fingers. Does this mean it's going all the way up? But they kept me really calm. But then I started to feel really, really, really sick, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, and I hate being sick. Most people probably hate being sick, but I think I was panicking that I was going to start being sick. I can't feel anything. Like, where am I going to be sick? I'm lying on my back. So they gave me a bowl, and they were like, just be sick in there. And I'm kind of looking at the bowl thinking what? I can't just be sick at the bowl. And I also really didn't want to miss the baby coming out. Like, that's like the main bit. So I was feeling really, really sick, and then I started to feel really faint, and they said this was really normal because my blood pressure was dropping so much, and they were giving me things like medication into my drip, but it wasn't, like my drip didn't seem to be working. So then everything started to get a little bit faster, and everyone up at my head started to get busy, and that started to make me panic a little bit because I was thinking, you know, they said they were going to be there the whole time, and the whole time though, they were so amazing. They kept talking to me and kept me calm. And there was one lady that just stayed at my head the whole time, and she was talking me through it. But they kept putting stuff into the drip, and it just wasn't working. It was like the drip in my hand just wasn't working. So they said that they were going to have to put one on the other side, and I didn't really want that because the one that had went in this hand had already been a bit of a disaster in the morning. The blood had went everywhere, and it was all over my dressing gown and everything. So I was like, no, but whatever, you don't have a choice at that moment. But then all of a sudden, the lady moved the drip a little bit, and all the fluid that was in it started to flow through, and eventually, like, you know, my blood pressure normalised and I stopped feeling sick. But there was like a bit of a mad panic in the middle before my baby was born about my blood pressure dropping and feeling faint, and it was just when I look back, it was just quite horrible, that little moment. And it was nothing to do with anything that was happening. It was just this drip wasn't coming through right. And once everything started to come through, I was like, yay. But I was really just dreading the fact that he was going to come and I was going to be being sick in a bowl. That would just have been not very nice. But it didn't. It was fine. The blood pressure went back up and the panic was over. And 1, 2, 3, baby was here. It was not quite like that, 1, 2, 3. But it's quite a strange sensation because obviously you can feel like movement and tugging and things like that, but you can't feel any pain. And then they asked us if we wanted to lower the drapes, and we said, originally before we had said we didn't really want to do that, but at the moment we were like, yeah, let's go for it. So they lowered the drapes and here comes our baby boy.
I'm great.
Well, I'm fantastic.
I am so good now.
And it was just the most amazing moment of my life ever. And I actually feel like emotional even thinking about it back to it, because it's just incredible. Like, you look down at this little person and you're just mesmerised instantly, like, by this human being that you've created that's in the world. It's just the most surreal, most magical moment, full of love. It's just incredible. So I wanted to do skin to skin, so he was put straight onto my chest. Stephen was there, and obviously they cleaned him up and everything like that. First they took his weight, so he was born at 6 pounds 6. He was a little tiny thing and he was smaller than what I thought he was going to be because his dad's huge. So I was like, oh, he's going to be really tall. But yeah, he came out and he was just the most perfect. It was just the most perfect moments. And following on from that, they took me back round to recovery, where we were there for about 2 hours. My husband Stephen did some skin to skin as well, and that was really, really lovely to see. And they brought me some tea and toast. I don't drink any tea or any coffee or any hot chocolate. No hot drinks for me, but they did bring me a huge jug of water, which was amazing after fasting for so long before the C-section. But I did make a bit of a boob of that, and I drank loads of water really, really quickly and ate the toast, and then I was sick. So yeah, everyone kept saying to me, it's the best toast you'll ever eat in your life, and then I spewed it all back up. So that was really lovely, but thankfully that didn't continue. I was lucky. That was just because I drank the water too fast. And yeah, then we were like just sitting in this, it's like a little cubicle. There was more people next to me, and there was a curtain all the way around, and thankfully my husband was allowed to stay with me in there for 2 hours, and we tried to do our first feed and things like that. But they did say to me not to panic about the first feed too much, like just kind of let it happen if it happens, but don't stress about it because the baby's going to be fine if he doesn't get a feed within that time. Then they got Stephen to put his nappy on and things like that, and it all just hits you, and it becomes very, very real that this little human is here and you're responsible for them, and it's now your job to look after them and make sure nothing happens to them. Oh my gosh. So a little update. Our little boy is here. He has arrived safe and sound, and just want to chat about it a bit more, but right now it's not the time because he's fast asleep. So welcome to the world. After being in recovery, we headed up to the ward. Now, my husband wasn't allowed to come up to the ward with me. I'm not sure if that is a COVID thing or whether it's just the way it is normally. But he was allowed to come back later for a visit, which was great. So we got up to the ward and get settled. Had my own room, which was lovely. I felt as if, like, when we first went in, I felt like it's like a hotel. And I got settled in. We were trying to breastfeed. That was what I wanted to do. Trying to get him to latch on and things like that, but it just wasn't happening. He just couldn't work out what to do. And to be honest, it was a little bit stressful at first because that was what I really was hoping that I would be able to do. But I wasn't against feeding him formula, I just was hoping to breastfeed. So it wasn't working for me, so we got some formula, fed him bottles, settled them, and then I thought, do you know what, I'll try again in a couple of hours and see how we get on. But I'm going to save a lot of my breastfeeding chat for my next vlog that's going to be about my breastfeeding journey, because to be honest, that's a long one, and it's I had like lots of different things that I wanted to talk about, and I've had lots of questions about it, so I don't want it to be kind of taking over this one too much, because this one's more about our little boy making his first appearance into the world. So we had some lovely family time together, and then it was time for him to leave, and I was in quite a lot of pain, but obviously I still had a lot of the painkillers, and the epidural was just wearing off slowly. And then they told me that they would come back at night and then they would sort everything out, and they would try and get me up out the bed, because I'd had quite an early C-section obviously. So that was quite scary, because I was thinking, up out the bed already, like, oh my gosh. But you know, you get a remote control bed, so it's not too bad. Got up out the bed in the evening, sat in the chair. I have to say, I did underestimate just how much pain I would be in. And this is totally personal. Some people are getting up and they feel amazing. Some people don't get up for days, weeks, months. Honestly, I think like recovery from these kind of things is completely individual, and everyone is so different. And I actually scared myself quite a lot before going into the hospital by reading things and people saying things about, you know, when you go like for your shower the first time, or where you go, you have to bend over and you can't get up, and when you go to the bathroom and you go for your first poo. Lovely information, but all these kind of things, and I think that just made it worse for me, because at the end of the day, everybody's different and your experience will be completely different to someone else's. So if you are going to have a baby, then it's best to just think about, you know, I'm going to be on my own path, and my body, I'm going to do my own thing afterwards, and I'll just go with how my body feels. So I was lucky enough that I was able to get up and sit on the seat, and I felt okay. I was in a lot of pain, but I felt okay. So yeah, everyone is totally different. And then that brought us to our first night, overnight together. So just a little midnight update. Our little boy is now 12 and a half hours old. He is right next to me here in his little bassinet, hospital room. It has been the most surreal day. I have been all over the place emotionally. He's not feeding yet off of me. He's struggling a little bit to kind of latch, so we have just been expressing and feeding him that way. But he's just an absolute dream. I'm feeling good as well, which is amazing after having C-section. I obviously had to get catheter fitted, and that is out now. I've been up on my feet already, sitting in the chair, managed to do a little waddle just around the room, and everything seems to be going well. So we'll see how we get on with our first night all alone. It's really scary, to be honest, and I've been feeling so anxious about this part of the day all day. But the staff here at the hospital have been incredible, like the most. I didn't even realise how much help and support they would give you, and the team that I had for my C-section in the surgery were unbelievable as well. They were obviously by my side every minute, but I really mean like they were with me, and they were so supportive because I was quite sick and things like that afterwards, so they were amazing. So it's been and an amazing day, our first day as parents. Stephen is obviously away home. He was only allowed to come for the visiting, so he was here for 2 hours. So it's just me and my boy, and we'll see how we get on tomorrow. Our first night in the hospital, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty much a blur. And I had all sorts of emotions going on, and I still, when I think back, I think, oh my gosh, like I didn't realise how much, this is going to sound silly because obviously you have to do a lot because you've just had the baby, but I think I never realised how much you would have to do, like considering you'd had major surgery and you're there by yourself. And I think that I really, really wish that my husband could have stayed. I really do. But obviously, I don't know if some places allow it. Definitely it's not allowed at the moment because of COVID and stuff. I don't know if it was allowed before. I think that would have just been so much easier for me if he had been allowed to stay, because you're going through it all on your own. And I mean, loads of people I know do it on their own. But I was so scared. I was just terrified. And obviously I felt a little bit of a nuisance because every time you needed something or you were sore, you would buzz for a midwife to come, and they were all so amazing and so lovely, but you know that way you just feel a little bit like I'd much rather that someone was here to help me and then I wouldn't have to ask. So for the first night it was quite stressful, and you're trying to get up out the bed to calm them, bearing in mind you've just had this major surgery and you're in so much pain. And I think it just was really overwhelming. And then next morning I was so tired. But it is really true, you just learn to function even though you're absolutely knackered. It's just all a little bit overwhelming at first, isn't it? It's just kind of everything is happening and you've got all your family to phone, and yeah, it was amazing, but it's very, very overwhelming. So we finally decided to announce the news of our baby boy, who is called Sloan William Walker, and he was 6 pounds 6. So yeah, it was just, actually, me and my husband were like, right, ready, let's post it, 1, 2, 3, go. And it was just mad. It was crazy. The response, the love, and just everybody was just so excited for us, and everyone couldn't believe he was here. Obviously we knew that he was going to be coming because we knew the C-section date. Oh, it was just amazing. Even to this day, I still say, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe that he was here and I was holding him in my arms, and yeah, crazy. I mean, how could I look this cute and just have peed all over mum's bed? I did make the decision after the doctor had been to see me to stay in the hospital for a second night. Nowadays, you can get out quite quickly after having a C-section if you can get up and move around and go to the bathroom and things like that. But I was suffering a little bit with trapped wind, and they wanted to make sure that everything was working properly, and they offered a little bit more help with feeding because I was still really wanting to breastfeed. And I was still trying and it just wasn't happening. But after the second night, I was really keen to get home, because the second night, I would say, was a little bit tougher for me than the first night. The ward seemed a lot busier. Obviously, still wasn't latching, so I was still having to buzz and try and feed him. Again, I was on my own. The epidural was worn off, and I was on painkillers, which were really strong, but I mean, you're in a lot of pain. And I think I was just able to kind of get up and about a little bit more. But yeah, I think you're just more aware of everything the second night. The first night I felt as if I was just like, don't even really know what happened there. So I think the second night I felt a lot more emotional. I phoned my mum at 3 in the morning and I was just like rocking Sloan in the room, and I was just stressed. I didn't know what he wanted, and it's all new and it's the first time you've ever done it, so that was quite scary. But yeah, it's just all of these things are going through your head while you're holding this like tiny little package that's entered the world, and you just feel so responsible for them, but you're ultimately just terrified. So, and people did say to me before I had him, it'll just all come naturally. There is a lot of things not everything did come naturally. You should see my Google search history. It's a little bit dodgy, some of the things that I've Googled, but not all of it comes naturally, but a lot of it does, which is strange because I just kept not believing people when they told me that. But it does a lot of it does come naturally, because you're in the thick of it. You're literally there in the moment. You've got to just do it. You've just got to deal with it. And it's so funny, like when I look at little videos
from being in the moment. It just really shows me how funny it was, and you can see in my face like how tired and petrified I was at the time.
Hello, I have been a little MIA. This is the third day of motherhood and it's definitely hard. I've not really kept up to date with everything that I wanted to kind of cover for everybody, but to be honest, I've been run off my feet with this wee guy. It's been an experience to take it all in. Obviously, first time mum. As you can see, my skin is all kind of breaking out and everything as well, just stressed, very tired. Trying my best to be the best that I can be, because that's what everyone wants to be, the best mum to their child that they can. But it's hard work, I'm not going to lie. So we are on third day of our baby boy's life, which is insane already. It is going in so fast. So I've been kept in the hospital for extra night overnight just to kind of keep an eye on things, got to kind of make sure that the stitches are looking okay and things before I get home. Yesterday it was a little bit harder to get up and about. Today I have managed to get up out the bed quite a lot and get showered and things like that on my own, whereas yesterday I was like a lot slower. I did manage it, but it just took me double the length of time. My husband Stephen, he got in for a visit yesterday, which was amazing. For quite a bit of the day, but I'm hoping to get home today, so he's not allowed in to visit today. If you're getting home, you don't get a visit, so it's been a rather long morning on my own waiting to see, so I have just phoned him a few times. But this little guy's doing really good, being open and honest, struggling a lot with the breastfeeding just because he's not really taking to it. He's not latching on at all. He's just having a bit of a fit every time. So we'll see what happens when we get home, how that goes, how that journey continues. Not 100% sure if I'm going to stick with it, to be honest, because it's really stressing me out when he's upset. And to be honest, I just want him to be fed and happy. And the milk is coming through, but if he's just not managing it and he's getting himself really anxious and agitated, it's not going to be worth it for him. But we're going to give it another go, because sometimes obviously it takes babies a little bit of time to learn how to latch. So our next update will probably be from the house, which is crazy. It's a beautiful day here as well, so I had bought a gorgeous big pom-pom hat for him to go home in, but I don't think he's going to be wearing that because it is really sunny. So we're ready to take our boy home. We are about to head home. We're going home, Slonny boy.
So after 2 nights in the hospital, we finally got to come home with our beautiful baby boy Sloan, and we were so excited to get out and just, you just want to get him out into the world and just get him home and be in your home comforts and just stare at him all day long. And we also have 2 dogs, so we were a little bit anxious about bringing them home and him meeting them, because you can probably hear them snoring. You probably hear them in all of my videos snoring. They snore a lot. They're 2 Frenchies. But we were so excited to get home and introduce them to the dogs.
Baby Sloan. That's your brother. Wee baby Sloan.
Good girl.
It's another wee human.
Good boy, Arnie.
But I was, again, feeling really nervous about our first night at home with him, just as I was when it was the first night in the hospital, because you're terrified that, what do you dress them in? Do we swaddle? The people in, the midwives in the hospital, they're amazing at swaddling. They just wrap them up and they're good to go. I was nervous about, the nappy changes, and I was still really nervous about the feeding because it was still not happening. And it was just a lot, and, it was an emotional couple of days.
So we are on evening 3 and I'm sporting very mum hair and my new mum t-shirt, which is so cute. I love it. It's even got the date that he was born on it. Such a cute little gift. We are just sitting on the sofa. Got this little guy here next to me. He's just chilling out, and we have found that today has been a lot better than the last few days. We've learnt so much in the first few days of becoming parents. So parenthood has been up and down, as it always will be forevermore in the first few days, and we are very tired, sleep deprived, but so in love with this little guy. He's doing amazing, and every single day I just want to stare at him all day long. So just a little update of how things have been, and yeah, we just can't wait for this exciting journey. When we got home yesterday from the hospital, I was quite emotional. Just Stephen was saying in the car, like, this is our life and our little start of our family together. Obviously we've got our fur babies who have adapted really well, but I'm glad that they have adapted well and they are loving this little guy just as much as we do.
Just honestly, the best thing that has ever happened to us was the birth of our baby boy Sloan. And we are just so thankful to everybody for all of their lovely kind words, their lovely gifts. He was completely overwhelmed. He's crying now. He's like, you're talking about me. I was completely overwhelmed by everybody's love for him. It was just incredible. Everybody was so lovely, and he's thinking, yeah, Mum, you've talked enough now. Can you come and see me? But yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that did, give him all these beautiful gifts. He is just the best thing ever, and I'm going to have to go now because he's starting to cry, and I'm just going to go pick him up and cuddle him again because those cuddles are just the best. But I'll leave you with a little montage of our moments when we first got home and the first couple of days as new parents with our gorgeous baby boy.
Kisses from Mummy.
So thank you once again for tuning in to my channel. I can't wait to see you in the next video, but don't forget to like and subscribe. And in the next video, I'll be covering the first few weeks at home with a newborn, things that we done, things that we learned, and all the madness in between. See you next time.